Look at what I found on the seashore near my house during my boys' rowing practice about 2 weeks ago. I had never seen this big of a shell before in my life, and I wanted to show you how you can design an amazing lesson with your kids, the keywords being with your kids, after you find something that is unbelievably interesting. So here we are on the beach about a week, two ago, found these amazing things. And yesterday, I actually stumbled upon a live one. So let me show you this and watch this just for a second. You have to see this is unbelievable. Ready? Found one of these alive, and I had to show you what is in here. What? Amazing? Okay, gross. Okay, so there I am on the seashore, and I found one of these alive. And so I took that little video that I had
I'm excited to tell you a story and to talk to you.
Let me turn this off so that I just kept autoplaying. So I took that little video that I took of this shell and I showed it to the boys' rowing coach, and she informed me that it is a moon snail. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. So I showed her the video and she said, oh, did you see the foot on the snail? And I was like, it's huge. She said, that did you see their egg casing? And I said, no. And I said, wait, is that the trash that I'm seeing on the beach? And sure enough, that I'm going to show you a couple things. So how do you take a discovery and turn it into something really cool? So let me go back to the right video here. So I had found the shell, then I found a live one on the beach, showed the video to the kids' coach. She gave me the name of the discovery, and suddenly we're on this rabbit hunt to learn all about the moon shell. So when you find something that your kids absolutely love, it all begins with wow. And do you know who it helps if they're the most excited? It helps if that's you. So as the homeschool mom or dad, be most excited, wow, as you discover. So this discovery of the moon shell happened because I happened to be walking the beach as my kids were doing rowing. My youngest son and I go on treasure hunts on the seashore all the time. You may not live by the seashore, but wherever you live, there are treasures that your kids would love. So step number one to designing a lesson is to watch for, look for, and find things that you can be excited about with your kids. The very next thing that you want to do is you want to share that excitement with your kids. Super important that it's not just that they are excited about something, you need to be excited about it as well. And then once you see that there's a spark, so once this sparks, now you dig deeper. This is not school at this point. This is simply just digging deeper. So what does that look like? I shared that same video, this one, with my neighbor. And I said, you're going to love this. Of course, I had found another shell and I gave the shell to her, and I'm calling them now friendship shells. So I gave her a friendship shell. So she then was flabbergasted because I showed her that video that revealed the foot of this moon snail and just blown away. So then she came back. Let me share another screen. She came and she shared this video with me. Whoops, wrong click. I'm just going to show you just barely, like just little tips of the iceberg. So she shared this video with me, and when I watched it, it's just a guy on the beach talking about moon snails. So see, he shows a live video.
Moon snails are what are called drillers. So they're the type of predator that gets onto your shell.
So here, this is like a super short video about a moon shell, and he then tells me that they're drillers. which instantly makes sense to me because as I'm walking on the seashore, he goes on to explain that the moon snail actually takes that big foot and it attaches on top. And then he goes deeper into the video and he shows the parts of the moon snail. Let's see if you can, let me go to where it is. He talks about the moon shell, talks about the anatomy, and actually shows.
Destroy it. It's a little bit like a zipper. And it's cool.
Shows this really gross picture of the moon snail's mouth, and that it releases acid that dissolves the shell so that the moon shell itself, the moon snail itself, can eat the crustacean. So he then started to say words that I had never heard before. So, and I can't even find it. So immediately the boys and I got interested in what is going on here. So what is this? We discovered, we shared with each other and then with a neighbor and a coach, which then they shared a video with us that started to give us information that was wetting our whistle. And now we're like, wait a second, this is super exciting. What kind of an animal is this? These are questions you don't answer for your kids. You help them learn how to discover this yourself or themselves with you. But we learn and already knew that they are mollusks, that they have a mouth part that starts with the R. So I'm just going to put R because this is a work in process. So what's the anatomy of a snail? And so we discovered and we shared and we started to dig deeper. Now I'm into this season of learning to doodle as a way of, it's visual learning. So I'm learning to doodle. I'm doodling as I share with you on Facebook and with my other audiences. And I'm teaching some of my kids to doodle as well. So the next step for me as I'm designing this lesson would be, hey, can we figure out how to draw a snail? Now I've never drawn one before. So, but when I look at it, it has a swirl design. So I'm just going to try to mimic that on a paper. And we're going to doodle the shell just like in real life. And then knowing what we learned, so I found another image. So let me show you. This is stuff that you do side by side with your kids. So you are discovering, sharing, digging deeper for information. Now, hey, can we draw this? Notice at no point have they written a paragraph or read a book. This is just digging and discovery. So let's see if I can pull up the page. It is this one about moon snails. I'm in a room and my boys are building Legos all around me. So I found these pictures where that thing around the edge of the moon shell is its foot. And so in the picture of a drawing, we would want to draw kind of a, isn't that one beautiful, that orange one on the right? So I would draw that, kind of the foot. And this one has some stripes on it. So I would draw some stripes like this, that then we could come back and color. And then we would be able to maybe look for other things that could show us, get this going, that could show us the anatomy of a snail. So far, just from a walk on the beach, we've discovered, we've delighted together, we've dug deeper where is there interest? The second that we can see that there is interest, we can dig deeper and we can start to draw. Now you get to get creative. You get to ask weird questions like, hey, don't freak out. You saw my video, right? So this one right here, let me share the right screen. Because you know what, I mean, I got a house full of boys, so you know what their question is. This one. So go a little bit further into the video and I pull it out of the water. Okay, that's a good spot to stop. So if you can see, even though it's blurry, this thing is the foot, and you know what the kids are going to want to know. Edibile, edible. How do you spell edible? Anybody? E-D-I-B-L-E. Edible. Okay, so edible. So is it edible? Oh no. So in a survival situation, you could eat one of those slugs. I'll sit back and watch you because that's just gross. But maybe in a lot of butter, it might be okay. So it's edible. So in just exploring the ocean, sharing with people, digging online, so far we've discovered that this thing is a moon snail. It is a predator. These are vocabulary words that you build with your kids as you're going. It's a mollusk. What other mollusks are there out there? This is a picky eater. We learned today that these guys like to eat soft shell. They like other shelled creatures, and yet they like one at a time. So they come to the coast and they will decimate the clam population or the oyster population or the other moonshell population, and they'll come and they'll just destroy everything, and they'll get in the way of commercial and residential clam harvesting or crustacean, just whatever harvesting. So mollusks, they're predators, they're drillers. When you look on the beach and you see, as I was walking, I couldn't figure out why the shells would have this perfect hole in them. They have the perfect hole because they've been eaten by the moon shell. The moon snail. Fantastic. So in there, now at this point in education, this is where schooly stuff comes in, not before. Because now you've fully experienced this thing that you're discovering together. You've delighted in it. You've talked about it. You've dug for interesting information. Are there any documentaries on there? Are there any cool YouTube videos out there? Do we have any books in the house that talk about this type of a creature? Can we get them from the library? Hey, can we draw them? Is this something that we can eat? And now you can start to do different type of academic things. And the types of things that you could do with a lesson like this is you could do a notebooking page. Those are just those pages that have frames on them like this, that have a place for a picture and then a spot for lines, and the kids can just brain dump what they learn. You can do an anatomy of mollusks. There's so much that you could do. You could do full science lessons. You could do the history. You could do writing. You can do art lessons. They can do PowerPoint presentations. You can take that science information. How many clams does one moon shell decimate? And then you can turn it into math word problems. There's just the world is your oyster at that point. So that's how you take designing a lesson and bringing it to life with your kids. This is the key. You get out and you discover and you explore and you read and you share your excitement and your enthusiasm with your kids, and then you channel and chase it down, knowing full well that these right here, this is where the magic of learning and excitement comes in. This stuff now is fun. Once you get here, these are fun educational projects. But the challenge is that classrooms and some people, as they're teaching, start here. And so this is work. This is not fun if you haven't just delighted and discovered and drilled and drawn and decided whether or not you're going to eat it. So don't start with the academic stuff. Start with the experience and delight and wonder stuff, and have that lead into, have it turn into, have it morph into some kind of, hey, let's show what we know. And the way that you show that will be based on your kids. They can create little, they can do show and tell. They can create art projects. And here I wrote who I was walking with on the inside of the shell so that I have that as a keepsake. You can do notebooking pages. You can do PowerPoint presentations. I saw this morning on a watercolor that is a beautiful art lesson. So that would be fun to do a watercolor. And in a nutshell, when you step away from this lesson, this is a full immersion lesson where you've touched it from all of the different ways that you learn. So you're moving with your body, kinesthetic, you're listening as you're talking and sharing about information, and then you are visually learning as you watch and discover and read and draw. And then you're adding all these other elements with art and food and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I thought that was really cool. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any of these in your area. I'd be interested to see. My family lives in the Pacific Northwest, and so this is a moon snail that is up here. Do you have anything like this or anything as cool as this in your area? It could be any animal. Talk to you soon. Bye.